We're live. Welcome to the Sunday live stream. A regular Sunday live stream here on my left eye. I'm your host Lefty. Happy Socialist Sunday, everybody, and also happy solstice as well, as pointed out in the chat. Aaron Gray was with us first. Apologies if this stream does clash with any other channel's live stream. Sometimes that's unavoidable. Sunday live stream times do vary here on my left eye though. Usually any time between 6:30ish and 8, but recently towards the latter end of that time scale. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. I do have a life away from this desk. I can't speak for other streamers. But I'm glad that you're with us here this evening. All I can say for myself is it's not intended as any kind of competition. In fact, we're all in it together, you know. I do like to show solidarity with other channels as well. Okay, people, please make sure you hit thumbs up as you join us on stream. We'll chill here for a few moments and then we'll get into Keith's Fondue Lounge and see what's coming up this evening. For now, let me know how your week's going in the chats or in the comments if you're watching back later on. Jamie, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm not 100% certain myself who we might be clashing with this evening, just responded to something else in the chat. And it is a busy week for a lot of people. Idiosyncrasy. Oh, George Monbiot, okay. I dare say he's significantly better known than this channel, even though we are honoured to have gotten to where we have in the amount of time that we have. JK, thanks for joining us, and thanks for the support in the chat as well. I do appreciate that solidarity. Don't mind clashing with Galloway. Whilst I agree with what he says about Gaza, of course, I disagree with him very strongly on a lot of other terms. Environmental does apparently have a rumour for anti-trans statements and sentiments as well. Ironically, the most viewed video ever on this channel had himself as the topic. When he was sworn in after he won the by-election in Rochdale, it was more or less just a simple informative piece of this incredible event as it was. He has, of course, subsequently been voted out. And it's called The Mother of All Talk Shows, I believe, is his channel. Or the streams. Okay. Great start here. Well, just wanted to say as well, seem to have ironed out a few bugs that have happened over the last couple of streams. Apologies for those. yeah, I've had to strip out some of the little inserts that I have on certain scenes here in the broadcast software, but now it's running a lot smoother. You can't overload it, otherwise basically, yeah, has a meltdown, keeps crashing. I think I've been pushing the boundaries for a bit, to be honest, but where would we be without a good insert?
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Cyrus survived, of course. Had to get rid of a couple of the Starmer ones. He's some of his have been stripped out.
Oh God.
Well, some of the classics still remain. We'll just see what comes up. But right now, people, let's say that again, guys, because I will introduce Herbie Ranger and the Supersonics, the Sunday livestream background music quartet. Here with us as always, and as always, I owe a show of thanks to all the members on the channel. But I do just have to grab the video, as during my re-engineering I appear to have neglected to include this. How silly. Okay, we'll just have to resize this. One moment. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. We're just underneath the 100 mark. I think we had an extra member on the last live stream on Wednesday. No, sorry, it was Thursday, wasn't it? The belated PMQs on Thursday. So yes, thank you very much to everybody on the list. Other ways you can support the channel: if you're watching live, Super Chat is open. Super Thanks is open if you're watching back later on. And there's also a Buy Me a Coffee page in the description of this stream, or any other content on the channel, which we do hope you'll share around your social media. Of course, give us a follow on Blue Sky, Twitter or Mastodon whilst you're there as well. Thanks once again, members. Solidarity, everybody. I think that's the stall closed for now. But thank you very much, Idiosyncrasy, getting us into 3 figures. Once again, just adjusted the membership goal there. Solidarity for that. Let's please big up Idiosyncrasy in the chat, please, everybody. And let's show some solidarity here, comrades, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, their thems and comrades alike. I need a sip of tea. Yeah, 99 is kind of, yeah, at 99, a bit annoying. 88's bad as well, of course. We never like to be sat on that number. Hell no. This is, of course, for anybody who doesn't already know, a socialist channel, all about politics and society from a left-wing point of view. I would be delighted if we got to 1312. That's a very high bar, currently at a modest 250, but if we do get to 1312, wouldn't mind that at all.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
And one way you can help us get there, as I said before, share us around your social media. Please do help promote the channel any way you can. Some of the perks, I should say, of joining as a member as well, of course, include early viewings on content throughout weekdays. Also exclusive content. There's some exclusive stuff on there from other protests and whatnot that I've been involved with. There's a channel made by political and environmental activists, so do check those perks out. And you get static emojis as well, which you can use on these very streams. Hit the join button if you want to know more. Cool.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yes, we do have a fine audience on this channel as well. Let us dive into Keith's Fondue Lounge to gate crash and go through what's coming up on the stream this evening. This is another Sunday tradition for anybody who's not a regular viewer on the channel. Do like to disrupt his little parties, although he's doing enough to disrupt and destroy his own political party at the moment.
Oh God.
You know this is one of the biggest earworms in streaming people. Keith's Fondue Lounge. Do have to give a shout out to the Agitator, of course, for providing this fantastic scene. This isn't one of my creations. He does great stuff. Go and give him a follow on social media at Agitate for Change. That's the number 4. Agitate for Change. So, what are we going to be prattling on about this evening? I think we're going to start with a satisfactory look, that is, at the Andrew Tate pummeling. I think he's a mixed martial art fighter, decided to step into the ring with a pro. I had no idea at the start of the week just how much boxing would come up on the channel. You might have seen the latest content where professional boxer Ty Mitchell confronted Stephen Yax Lennon, aka Tommy Robinson. Please do check that one out. Within that video, I also included a bit of the footage of the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight, which was very one-sided, which is why I included it. In fact, in terms of stature, the sort of, should we say, podgier, shorter Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, who's certainly upper physique at least, certainly doesn't even look real. It looks like something from a computer game or a cartoon in its refined perfection. If you were going to illustrate a boxer, yeah, and it went about as well as you could expect, really. Even though Anthony Joshua, unfortunately, in his professional bouts recently, over recent years, he's suffered some mental health problems which caused him to lose his title. This was sort of set up as Jake Paul's next foray into boxing from MMA. I think he took on Mike Tyson, didn't he? More recently, anyway. And where this fight was concerned with Andrew Tate, yeah, he took a massive beating. So, certainly not going to deny taking any pleasure in watching that. Just a few highlights, of course. We know his reputation. He's obviously one of these, alpha male bullshit, shite hawks. Yeah. We could go into it at length, might do that a little bit more as we go through that. Something we didn't have time to get onto on the last live stream was, of course, the supposed release of more of the Epstein files, pictures and other information. You're probably also all aware that, of course, Trump didn't follow through on that legal obligation, by the way. He was legally obliged to do so. Released very little, and everything's redacted. So it's probably only a single-digit percentage of the whole rotten thing. But even from that, we're getting signals of certain things that are certainly going to make your skin crawl. What's from Trump and the US as well? Obviously Trump's name being mentioned and redacted quite heavily within these files. It's alleged, we are told. But a second Venezuelan oil tanker has now been seized from the United States, but perhaps a lot more diplomatically complicated than the first time, for reasons we'll go into later. Here in the UK, we're going to take a look at latest polling, how things are looking for Keith here, but particularly in not just England, but Wales and Scotland. Also the latest on Gaza. Apparently Israel have, air quotes, announced 19 new illegal settlements in Gaza. And we're going to take a look at some of the Manchester demonstration, which took place yesterday as well. That is the pro-Palestine march. I wasn't in attendance myself, but we're going to see some of the footage and some of the testimony from those people there, plus a couple of comedy clips here and there. And that's pretty much what's coming up on the stream. Peasants of Yvette, great to see you. Completely brilliant in the chat. Oh, that was poor interpretation. Doc Davies as well, nice to see you. Hope you're both well. Alright, we'll be back for some more fondue later. But that'll be it for the brief visit to Keith's Fondue Lounge. Let's get out of here before Margaret Hodge rips another one out. Okay, people, let's start with the opening comedy clip. This one's from Noreen Skinner. I did recently do a full analysis and a separate video about the indescribably awful new Liz Truss show, her new content here on YouTube, please do take a look at our analysis of that, if you will. But this is Noreen Skinner's take on the Liz Truss show. And I haven't seen anything of the subsequent episodes other than the debut one, which I did the analysis of. I'm not sure how much more I could take of that. Yeah, to be honest. Like I did point out in the video, might have to get a cheap psychiatrist who deals with subjective trauma, possibly. Well, let's see Noreen Skinner's take on this. There's a link to this video on the channel in the description of the stream, so please do go check her out and subscribe if you don't do so already. She doesn't just do a great Liz Truss in the form of Liv Truss, the character you're about to see, but she does very, very good Rachel Reeves, among others, so do check out the channel.
Posy, can you keep it straight, please? Thank you. Hello, it's me, Liv Truss, back again, for the 100th time. Now, not long ago, I was actually Prime Minister of this great continent, and now things have gone much, much more north. It was a much better time with me around. So that's why I am here with my grand production budget and very sane video to make sure that you know the truths. So that's right. Welcome to the Liv Truss Show. So it's time to get juicy. Great Britain has gone to debris. The Badgers are coming, led by Tony Blair. They want you to be woke and let in the immigrants. It's a disgrace. Is this shot okay, Quaddy? Good, let's go. They're spreading their diseases, snorting and destroying all of my pork markets coming out at night. They're dressed as pigs in blankets, and they're singing Once in Royal David City. So I propose this. We are not a lowly cattle shed. A mother laid her baby, and this is my baby. These lands, this county, northwest, east, north, shredded wheat, Norfolk. I propose that we send all of our money to Donald Trump. We get rid of all of the immigrants with big sucker plants and get rid of everything, everyone, so that all we are left with is me. The Badgers are gone. Now it's time to talk sense. That's right. It's all about me. Time for truth. Time for cheat.
That was actually more sense, more coherent sense than the actual real thing.
Mild cheese. Pork!
Noreen Skinner, go and give her a follow. She's on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Noreen Skinner. All one word, as you can see there. Awesome stuff again from Noreen. Yeah, I think even when this channel started as a very, very small side project, it is still part-time. But we are glad to have got where we are, 5,500 subscribers. But even in the very early days, I probably had a better setup than the Liz Truss show, from what I've seen anyway. Speaking of sets, equipment, upgrades, I can confirm that by the end of January, this channel will have its tech upgrade. better quality videos, better quality streams, a lot more to come. Perhaps a few new features as well. More news on that to be revealed. And it's been safe to say that the streams and other things haven't been without the technical problems. But we've gotten through them together, people. Like I said, I always appreciate the fantastic audience that we have here on My Left Eye. Even when at one point gifted memberships were just bouncing back and being returned to the kind gifters. But thankfully, those days are behind us. The London Cheesehead. Nice to see you. Nice handle. SS Gongshan. Thanks for joining us as well. You told your brother to vote green, and now Christmas is cancelled because of trans people. Juice. Oh my goodness. Well, that's the official narrative, I guess, coming from the far right. Glad you liked the clip there as well, London Cheesehead. Thanks for joining us. To both. More comedy clips to come later on, I guess. The next kind of counts. If you like seeing far-right dickheads taking a hell of a beating in the ring. That is, in the sport of boxing. Thought he'd have a crack at it. Just like Jake Paul the other week. Didn't go very well. The other day, I should say. Right, let's take a look at this. It's just some highlights. Yeah, like I said earlier, I can't believe how much boxing's come up in a lot of the stories that we've covered on the channel, but here we are. Emma Richardson just jumping in the chat as well. How you doing, Solidarity? Thanks for joining us on Socialist Sunday. Okay, here we go. From what I don't think I've even... I have to be honest, I've not seen all the clips I've got lined up all the way through. But from what I understand about this bout, even though it was very one-sided, Tate threw everything he had into the first round, but I think from there on in, took a hell of a beating. Let's see what's happening. So that's Tate on the left, obviously there, and Chase on the right. This is in Dubai, part of the Misfits tournament, which is the same tournament that Ty Mitchell was involved with. That's the boxer who had the confrontation with Yaxley Lennon, aka Tommy Robinson. Like I said, so much boxing coming into stories this week. So they were all there, apparently. Eventually, I've got an update on that actually. Tommy Robinson, Yaxley Lennon, was told to leave. He was told he wasn't welcome. Not just at the event, in the country. He was booted out of the country. So this event took place in Dubai in Saudi Arabia. As you're about to see here, the referee sounds certainly appears to me to have a strong London accent. Thanks a lot for hitting the emojis as we're going through the stream as well, people. Solidarity. Okay, so here we go.
In the dressing room, obey my command at all times. This is the title. You both know the rules. Watch your heads. Kick them punches up. When I shout break, break clean, and remember to finish yourselves at all times. Touch them up.
Ian John Lewis, third man inside for our main event of the evening. 6 3-minute rounds for the Misfits Boxing Heavyweight World Championship. The challenger, Andrew Tate, wants to take the throne from Chase to Moore. Nobody in this arena believes in the champion, but the only person's opinion that matters is his as he dares to take out the Cobra.
Heavyweight boxing, guys. One punch can change everything. Nice straight left jab by Tate.
Off they go here, people. It's a few opening jabs here. Well, have a stab at doing some live. And there he goes. He throws everything he's got. Another left jab there. But Chase, at the moment, taking all this very well. As they continue to try and test and probe one another. Tate goes for a combination there, but misses. Chase keeping his guard up pretty well. Here at this point, keeping Tate away. Sorry, there's a bit of lag on the feed. Again, another couple of, but he did actually land a jab or two there.
That's not the strategy that's going to work. He's got to get in here and fight him. Tate returns to the ring after 5 years. Rides an 11-fight win streak. Has not lost in 13 years.
So he and his brother, of course, being convicted of sex trafficking. And he goes for a big right there, but again, not really landing much, and those that aren't landing, Chase is taking them pretty well. Sorry, it's getting a bit jumpy.
The hands naturally low for Andrew Tate right now. It's allowing him to snap that jab in unnoticed, but it's a high-risk, high-reward game.
Demore, patient. The champion not looking to explode into the pocket on Tate. Andrew dedicating some shots to the midsection.
Andrew Tate settling in a little bit here, BJ.
He is. He looks fine. He's, setting up the jab, the body. Chase is still kind of trying to get high when he's landing the shots. Chase is to get his head off the center when he jabs and set up his other shots. Keep everything off the jab, though.
We talk about Demore's physical appearance, right? It seems like he has
Still nothing.
that he needs to succeed.
Still nothing doing.
But sometimes, right, the skills take a little longer, Ryder.
Sometimes they do. He's been developing those skills very well.
Chase Demore seems a lot more confident on his feet as well. You can see the sort of difference in footwork.
It's a tall order.
Demore clinching here. It's a short shot from Tate. Chase not really committing to the right hand.
Bit of grappling there.
No, not yet. He's still trying to find the range. And, if I'm Chase Demore, I'm going to get that left jab going a little more authoritative. He's given one round away to Andrew Tate so far. No problems. 5 to go. But he let Andrew Tate get up to a good start.
Strong clinch from Andrew Tate, showing his experience in Muay Thai.
Yeah, and from there on, well, judging by the look of him, by the sight of him, when he came out of the ring, it was a very one-sided affair. We're not going to look at the whole fight. Yeah, that is Tate there. Please don't flood the chat. Whatever it is you're trying to say, don't flood the chat, please. Yeah, he was literally in tears as well at one point. Collapsed on the ring. Yeah, so sent packing. There we go. I remember in the early days of doing the streams, we saw his car collection being seized. His collection of classic cars. That was at the time that he and his brother were convicted. All right, we'll move on to other things now. Quite a bit to get through this evening. We'll get into the redaction of the Epstein files after we take a look at this video. It's an interview with Candace Owens. Yeah, so make what you will of the source. However, it's a former CIA agent who I think has something that we should all pay heed to in this interview that you're about to see. It's recent, but I'm not sure exactly when it took place. Just concerning Epstein himself, what his agenda was, what his remit was, what's going on with himself, and obviously a lot of well-known, powerful people, politicians, people in the entertainment industry, and so on and so forth. We're going to start with that and then go into a bit about the redactions and how this is absolutely expected, but just very desperate stuff from Donald Trump.
What do you think about Jeffrey
Epstein was a CIA Mossad asset that was recruited and was doing a blackmail operation. I think that's crystal clear. No question about it. So
tends to be the party guy, just like Diddy.
Drugs,
cameras, drugs.
The CIA, as part of MKUltra, had Operation Climax, where they would lure Johns in with drugs and prostitutes, and then this drunk CIA schmuck would sit on the opposite of a two-way mirror and take notes on what, just evil, wicked stuff. And that's what they're using Epstein for, was blackmail operations. And they got some pretty high-level people snared into that. And they haven't released the entire list of close Epstein confidants. But, Israel's former prime minister was one of them.
Barack?
Yes, they got a picture of him visiting Epstein at his New York apartment. And he was well connected to Epstein, but that was all in secret. That is the intelligence part of Mossad. And of course, they couldn't do that without coordinating with the CIA.
I asked this question now.
So is the whole thing a blackmail scandal? That's the reason he's there. That's the reason it's all these famous people.
The more I learned, there just always seems to be this connection between the CIA and the Mossad. And I'm going, is it just...
No,
they're the same organization. I think the more you look back into history, and it's always somehow the CIA and the Mossad is there on the day that JFK gets shot. We learn about like MLK. We learn about 9/11, and I'm just going, okay, why does it seem like there's a union here?
Well, nobody should be shot. Yeah, of course. These institutions have had their hands over some of the most evil acts throughout recent history. And again, we're not entirely surprised to see this happening. These people are the lowest of the low. This is, yeah, skin-crawlingly awful stuff here.
Marriage here.
Mossad is like the sister of the CIA. They're joined at the hip, kind of like Siamese twins, and they use each other for intel and operations and things like that. They are extremely close. And in an extremely sensitive relationship. Oh, yeah.
Wow. And it totally explains what Epstein was doing. And also Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, when he died, and didn't he die rather mysteriously? I'm not sure.
He fell off, he found dead, off his yacht.
It fell off the boat. They fell off the boat, and Epstein, we can't show you the CCTV footage of outside of his cell. It's consistent, isn't it, people? It's certainly consistent in how these people meet their demise, which you have to say can often happen if you have too much information on powerful people.
floating in the water. They claimed it was a heart attack.
Of course.
Just when he was coming under scrutiny for arms dealing and connections with the CIA and being a Mossad agent, actually a double agent with Mossad and KGB. All of a sudden, he's found dead floating next to his yacht, and
Happens all the time.
oh yeah, it's just just one of those things. See what
But a ton of Mossad agents and I think a former prime minister of Israel attended his funeral.
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
guys, hey,
Yeah,
maybe
it's like,
Elaine.
it's very difficult that they find out the hard way to cover up the truth because it's going to leak out.
Well, leak out, it was supposed to be officially released. And it's an insult. Drip drop of redacted. Don't look here. Oh, Donald Trump's name doesn't appear in any of this. This could be about anybody. But even what we've seen so far is very shocking. It's certainly an insult to the victims, to the survivors. The most famous, one of the first to speak out about this, of course, isn't alive anymore either. Let's take a look. There's just a bit of a beep vid here about the response. I can't say that I was surprised that Donald Trump didn't release the Epstein files. We all know how it went. Pummelled briefed Trump that his name came up several times, at which point she essentially lied. She lied to the American public. This would have been, the release of the files would have been devastating for Trump and others. First of all, it was denied that the files on the client list existed. Then Donald Trump, whilst denying that he was included, said that when released it would implicate a lot of Democrats, which it actually does. Even former presidents appearing in some of the pictures, I should say, and also point out just by appearing in the pictures doesn't imply wrongdoing, but a lot of these people certainly had a close relationship with Epstein. Thereafter, even MAGA heads were losing the shit, demanding that these get released because they wanted to be able to throw some shade at the Democrats, apparently. But now even a lot of them have realised that it's just Trump trying to save his own back once again. And it's people like that that mean that he didn't have to face, what was it, 34 felony charges because he got re-elected. Nice move, but even a lot of them now still refuse to stand by him. It's pure cowardice. That's the only way that you can describe it. Just once more though, back to the victims and the survivors, because that's what needs to be emphasised the most. Let's see what they've had to say.
They are words and pictures that tell us more about Jeffrey Epstein. A document dump detailing the life and criminality of a sexual predator in PDF format. On Pennsylvania Avenue, it had been the Friday night before Christmas when the Department of Justice pushed the button on publication. By law, by midnight, they had to release all the files.
By law. And don't forget what I said earlier. Pummelled had a choice to make. There are serious implications, of course, for lying under oath. Because she repeated those claims in Congress.
We saw some, but not all. The DOJ released thousands of files, but thousands more remain unpublished. Friday's release showed us Epstein and the company he kept. Michael Jackson was a celebrity
That's
associate.
not a good start.
Seen here with Diana Ross and Bill Clinton.
Diana Ross.
The former Democrat.
Some of this is, I do have to say, disappointing. Some of the people you'll see, one in particular I have to say, apparently Noam Chomsky was seen in pictures on Epstein's jet. Like I said, obviously being in the pictures doesn't imply wrongdoing, but there's only certain reasons why people would want to be associated with Epstein. I do have to say, personally, I was pretty disappointed to see Chomsky among some of the pictures. This is Bill Clinton, of course. Redacted, who he's standing with. Former US President. Of course, the Republicans were up in arms over his affair with Monica Lewinsky, which was the major scandal during his time in office. Perhaps this will eclipse that controversy.
President.
Perhaps, I should say.
Featured prominently in the release by a Republican Department of Justice. He's pictured here in a jacuzzi.
In a jacuzzi.
And in a swimming pool alongside Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's partner in crime. Bill Clinton has stated he knew nothing of Epstein's crimes and cut him off before they came to light. Ghislaine Maxwell was pictured outside number 10 Downing Street. She and Epstein were a pair who courted the rich and famous. Here she is with Mick Jagger, and here he is on one side of the singer, Bill Clinton on the other. And here is Ghislaine Maxwell with a group at Sandringham, with the former Prince Andrew laid out on the laps of women sitting down. He denies wrongdoing. The new documents reflect the sex crimes that led Jeffrey Epstein to this new...
It's Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, actually. I think he's still used the title in there. Come on, it's Mountbatten Windsor now. Keep up, Beeb.
New York prison, where he hanged himself in 2019.
Oh, of course he did, yeah. Yeah, he did. And I'm a Dutchman. Worry. I don't think so.
A police incident report from Palm Beach, Florida, lists the paedophile's crimes against women, many underage. An FBI complaint form told of a photographer who took images of her sisters aged 12 and 16.
Fucking hell.
Epstein stole the photos and asked her to take pictures of young girls at swimming pools. He threatened to burn her house down if she told anyone.
Jesus fucking Christ. What a piece of shit, man.
Started and the abuse did as well.
Ashley Rubright was abused by Jeffrey Epstein. Like other survivors, she has sifted through the latest files.
I'm so not shocked, but let down, disappointed, seeing, I think somebody said there was like 119 completely redacted pages. There's no way that that's just to protect the victims' identities, and there better be a good reason.
There can't be a good reason. There's no good reason. Obviously, it's just Trump trying to save his own ass. Because he, obviously, how obvious does it have to be that this is the act of a desperate man? That's the only explanation for it. JK, yeah, back to the Robert Maxwell thing with the yacht. He did run off with the Mirror Pension Fund. So there you go. Sleaze and scandal runs in the family with the Maxwells.
I just don't know if we'll ever know what that is.
You feel you've been left behind?
Oh, we've been left behind since day one. That's why I think we're all fighting so loud now. We're tired of it.
Documents reflect the extent of Epstein's depravity. The younger the better was the job brief given to one of his recruiters.
Fuck off.
Approximately 13 was the age of a girl interviewed by a special agent. One girl spoke of being made to wear a schoolgirl outfit by Ghislaine Maxwell to give Jeffrey his tea. It was Friday evening in the US when the documents...
The fuck can you... What can you say? There's no words. It's so repulsive and vile. And this is, with the majority of it still being unknown, redacted. These are from the very, very small amount of details that we've had so far. There's a veritable mountain of this yet to be revealed, as it should have legally been so. Whenever it was midnight on Friday, Saturday. Come on. And this is, we're talking about, as I've frozen the video conveniently there, the supposedly most powerful man in the world. I've got a video coming up later on of another world leader's response to this, which also ties in with other events over the last couple of days. But he begins by pointing out that this is essentially a sick and vile cult that is running a lot of the more powerful governments and establishment in the world, and that's not very tin-hatty or conspiracy theory at this point, really. It has to be said. So if this is just the tip of the iceberg, God knows what's coming next, because what's in this report so far is enough to make your stomach turn. Jesus Christ.
Dropped. For all the names included, its president was conspicuously absent. You had to look hard at Epstein's desk to see the photo of the former friend, one who denies knowledge of his criminal behaviour. Curiously, Trump's Department of Justice released this picture in their Friday publication. By Saturday, we couldn't locate it on their website. Could it be coincidence that publication comes as Washington's political set?
They just vanished. Things just vanish, you know, like JFK's brain vanished. Other files, obviously, September 11th, 2001 has come up. A lot of suspicious circumstances around that as well. Other major world events from history. They just vanish. The laws of physics, as we know, cease to exist. Convenient, always convenient for the accused, of course. More thanks for joining us in the chat. Yeah, obviously I share those sentiments. Pure evil. Pure evil.
Has disappeared for the festive break. America will be home for Christmas when the next batch is released, possibly with Trump content. News tends to land softer during the holidays. The US Department of Justice says there will be more...
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so this time. It's not just... No, you can't brush over this. Absolutely not.
More files released over the next 2 weeks. There will be more documents and more images. We've not heard the last of the Epstein files, nor have we heard the last of the Epstein story. James Matthews, Sky News, in Washington.
Report from Sky earlier. That was pretty heavy. That was pretty heavy stuff, people. Get some Pepto-Bismol or something. Right. Moving on, although we're still sticking on the topic of Trump. This time on the topic of international crime. and seizure of vessels, Venezuelan vessels. Of course, his supposed war on drug cartels being a very thin veil for his attempt to seal Venezuelan oil reserves, of which they have more than any other country in the world. It's a good old greed, perhaps blended in with the last grasp for resources as the impending climate crisis will start to take effect towards the worst parts, that is, towards the end of this decade and into the 2030s. Right. This time, though, this is the second occasion that a Venezuelan vessel has been seized by the US recently. This time, however, a diplomatic crisis comes intertwined in this incident, as the vessel is owned by no other nation than China. Yes. So this obviously potentially has some seriously strong implications, as Donald Trump has perhaps inadvertently dragged China into these illegal seizures and blockades. Let us not forget, he took to Truth Social to inform the world that he was blockading Venezuela. This is the United States, the largest army in the world, unfortunately the master-in-chief thereof being the pumpkin-spiced Palpatine himself. And as I mentioned during that Sky News segment there, I'm going to follow this with the reaction from Gustavo Petro, the Socialist president of Colombia, who of course have been subject to American oppression themselves. And he certainly doesn't hold back in calling out Donald Trump while showing solidarity with Venezuelan neighbours. Let's see what's happening.
Well, the United States says it seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela for the second time in less than 2 weeks. In a post on social media, US Secretary for Homeland Security said the vessel was carrying sanctioned oil used to fund narco-terrorism. It comes 10 days after the US seized the Venezuelan oil tanker that's called the Skipper.
Sanctioned oil used to fund narco-terrorism. Pretty fantastical stuff. Yeah, of course it is.
Trump has announced a blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers entering and leaving the country. He's also refused to rule out the prospect of war with Venezuela amid a large US military build-up in the Caribbean, including the Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier. But the Brazilian president, Lula da Silva, has warned that...
Yeah, I should also point out 50 people were killed during this seizure as well. But as they mentioned there, it includes this new huge aircraft carrier.
US military action in Venezuela would spark a humanitarian catastrophe. Well, one regional leader who openly supports US military action is Javier Milei, the president of Argentina.
He's a grade A psycho.
Argentina welcomes the pressure from the United States and Donald Trump to liberate the Venezuelan people.
Liberate them from their freedom. We've freed you from your freedom. Like the good old United States of America have a reputation for. Oh, thank goodness they're here. Oh. I've not seen this clip before I actually uploaded it, to be honest, people.
Time for a timid approach on this matter has run out.
Ana Vanessa Herrero is a Venezuelan investigative journalist.
This is the second time we've seen them respond so fast. The first one was when the first vessel was taken, and they said, and I quote, "This acts will not go unpunished. They say that they will file a complaint against the United States, and they will file it to the UN, to the UN Security Council, and other instances. They didn't specify which ones, but the interesting thing here is that they are avoiding any kind of military action against the United States, even though all the threats are pointing in that way, in the military action. But Venezuela is not going for that. They actually said in this statement...
Well, China might. This could be very bad. This could be very, very bad. I'm not going to speculate on how Xi Jinping might respond to this in terms of whether force is going to be used or not. That would be just, well, pure speculation from myself as far as this is concerned, I openly admit. But I certainly don't think any good's going to come of it.
Today that they were going to act legally. They were going to take legal actions. And that is very, very interesting. We've seen how the Venezuelan government hasn't responded against the United States, not only with this, the seizure of the vessels, but also planes coming so near the Venezuelan airspace. And it's a very interesting angle to see how they are avoiding any kind of military action against. We know also that the vessel was going to...
Well, Venezuela won't, against the United States of America. They have the biggest land army, at least on the planet. It's a complete mismatch. Pretty much, that wouldn't be a wise move. Which is why this is international bullying. There's no other way to describe it, really. The latest example of which, again, it's the United States. I know that we have viewers in the States, of course. Not everybody supports this. A lot of people oppose this in the United States.
China, and some reports claim that it was carrying up to 2 million barrels, which is an absolute hit to straight.
2 million, that's a lot. Venezuela's actually a poor country, despite the fact that it's sitting on such massive oil reserves. It's economically a poor country.
To the Venezuelan economy and to the Venezuelan government, and we are seeing panic in the streets after the first vessel was seized, and now more than ever, what we're looking at, how it translates in Venezuela, is people lining up to fill up their cars with gas, because in the past, when something like this happened, or when the oil industry was being under attack or affected in some way, people thought, and it actually translated that way, that they were going to run low on gas. And that affects every single line of life in Venezuela. So what we're looking at now is people lining up for hours, panicking, although local authorities have said that there's no need to panic. There's not going to be a gas shortage, at least not yet, because that is not the target that the United States is after.
That's it as far as the clip goes. Keep your thoughts and comments coming in the chat, people. We're going to hear the thoughts from the Colombian president next. Good point. Good point there in the chat, JK. The United States wants the ICC to change its charter to make US leaders immune from prosecution. Yeah. What can you say about that? The hubris, the sense of exceptionalism, I should say. It's beyond belief. Well, this is just pure daylight robbery. see what Gustavo's got to say about this. This is very good. This is quite satisfying to see in front of a very receptive audience as well.
Un clan de pedófilos quiere acabar la democracia en Colombia. Duro, sí, pero ahí está la realidad. Y para que no salga la lista, entonces nos envían acorazados a matar pescadores de esta ciudad. Y amenazar al vecino, que si dictador o no, ¿cómo que el pueblo de Colombia va a aplaudir que invadan a su hermano, que no es el presidente, sino el pueblo de Venezuela? ¿Cuándo? Seríamos así de traidores y de vendidos, de que nuestra propia sangre la traicionamos, o el pueblo del Ecuador, o el pueblo de Panamá, o el pueblo de Venezuela no es nuestro propio pueblo. Y entonces quieren que el presidente haga lo que quería hacer Duque, cobarde, prestar las tierras de Colombia para que desde ahí se invadiera a un país hermano que tiene la misma historia que nosotros, porque allá nació Bolívar y vino a morir aquí, en esta ciudad. No se puede. Presidente de Colombia que haga eso, presidente maldito por las generaciones futuras, porque nunca será olvidado como un traidor. Y yo no pertenezco a los que querían matar a Bolívar. El gobierno de Venezuela ha hecho muchas críticas, pero no me burlo del pueblo de Venezuela, ni construyo una trampa para que caiga el pueblo de Venezuela en la trampa de una invasión que solo va por su petróleo. Que se...
Yeah. Oil, driven by greed and violence. 100% correct here from Gustavo Pedro. Morbius, yeah, it is crazy how reliant we are on fossil fuels, America especially. The whole of society being based around oil and the driving of cars. And it's like building a castle on sand, because when your entire economy is built on a finite resource that will, of course, eventually run out one day, but is also polluting the planet to the point yeah, where it's going to destroy us. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's thoughtless, and it's all because of greed and violence. Neo-fascistic capitalism is all you can put it down to.
Quiere es codicia y violencia más para hacer de esta esquina hermosa del continente suramericano una Siria, un Irak, una Libia llena de esclavos, de venta de esclavos, de nuevo negros. No, la lista de los amigos de Epstein, que no quiere que aparezca la lista en los Estados Unidos, nos quiere utilizar aquí con la violencia para que el pueblo de los Estados Unidos no piense en su propio gobierno, sino que se le suba la xenofobia, el racismo, las ideas de la raza superior.
Sorry about the audio there. I think it's because of the wind. That's from the clip itself, for anybody wondering what that was or is.
Y otras ideas falsas, y nos usan para no discutir sus propios problemas. Presidente de Colombia lo que ha hecho es denunciar narcotraficantes durante décadas. Y los narcotraficantes que ha denunciado siempre estuvieron en el poder político de Colombia, en el Estado.
Gustavo Petro. There, excellently put. We shall move on to another topic in just one moment, people. get one or two things set up. We're just going to check out a little bit of UK politics next. Yeah, look at general UK poll first. This is now going to be the latest ones, one of the latest ones from Stats for Lefties. We'll take a look at the vote share as well as the seat count. And then specifically onto Wales, because things look disastrous for Labour in Wales at the moment. They had a spokes on Trevor Phillips on Sky News earlier. We'll take a bit of a look at that. Because it's one disaster after another. For Labour in the polls at the moment. Just go. And open the screen share. So yes, this one from Lord Ashcroft shows the Greens 1 point ahead of Labour. But the Tories are apparently picking up a couple of percentage points and been just within 3 of Reform, which is somewhat bizarre. So there you have it, just scroll down. 3% lead for Reform over the Tories in second on 22, and then just 3% behind there. Zach Polanski's Green Party now succeeding Labour. We're on 18%. How would this affect the seats? Let's take a look at this. I'll scroll down just a bit more so we can see the played seats, because they're going to be the topic just after we take a look at this. So this poll indicating actually a bit less of a majority for Reform than other polls that we've seen before. Like I said there, for some unknown reason, apparently the Tories making something of a comeback. A lot of the previous polls we've seen them losing even more seats. We've seen them almost fighting for bottom place amongst independents, and even the SNP projected to get more than them in previous polls, but in this one they'd be up 18 with 139. The Greens quite firmly in third place in terms of seats there with 83. Lib Dem in fourth, SNP fifth, Labour right down in sixth, losing 373, just 38 seats remaining. So even though Labour just 1% behind in the polls when this is projected to seats, this is what is likely to be the outcome. What do you think about that, people? Another pretty significant gain as well for independents and the Workers' Party of Britain. up 7 seats with 12. Your party, I don't think it obviously don't feature in this poll. We probably won't see that starting to happen until next year. Yora Gibson, hope you're well. Also, thanks for joining us in chat. Any suggestions for this, what appears to be possible mini comeback from Kemi Badenoch's Conservative Party? Let me know in the chat or in the comments. Yeah, but this looks increasingly bad for Labour. Look at that, 38 seats, 38 seats. What can you say about that, people? Awful. Very poor indeed.
Oh, God.
Just see if there's anything more in the comments. Yeah, look there at some of the standings in Scotland and Wales. We're going to have a look at Wales next. But as we saw there in those projections, SNP still projected to clearly take a majority. In Scotland, look at that, 33% over Labour's 17. Reform in third on 16. Green's not too far behind there on 12, tied with the Tories. And then 7% or less for the rest. As for Wales, Reform are actually projected to get a victory in this poll, apparently, but the one that we're going to take a look at, or that is raised in the interview, I should say, actually says something, actually displays a different result than this one. But this has Reform in the lead with 27, Labour in second with 16, Plaid Cymru with 15%. So quite a bit of variation here, because the poll in the interview that we're about to see has played at 33, as well as so in first. Labour on 10% in that one. So we're going to see what's happening. The response from the Labour spokes on Trevor Phillips. Not doing a particularly good job, you might not be surprised to hear as well.
Let's take Wales. Reform is polling at 30% in Wales, one of the birthplaces.
Yeah, so like I said, quite a different outcome on this one. This is YouGov. 33% Reform, second on 30. Labour with just 10%, tied with the Tories. And now this is the Trevor Phillips show, of course. I would strongly, perhaps in the high 80s, 90s percentage chance, assume that he would have voted Conservative in the last few elections, possibly. Very likely to have. Yeah, so that's his sort of agenda for having a go at Labour, I guess, which he does. You can see him smirking throughout this clip. But just the way that he puts things. The main focus here is in the interview is going to be on reform, completely ignoring the fact that the Welsh Independence Party are ahead in the polls, making the conversation all about how Labour can't keep up with reform, only having projected by YouGov to have a third of the amount of votes that reform would get.
Of the Labour movement, you are down to 10%. The strategy to kill off reform's failing pretty dramatically, isn't it?
Well, we're just focused on going for every single vote at the moment. Reforms offered to the country is really clear.
Dave Drummer, thanks for joining us, Solidarity comrade. Just responding to that there. Labour are going for every single vote at the moment, are they? Of course, well, certainly not socialist votes. The door's open, and socialists could leave. And leave they did. That was the cry from Starmer. That's what's happened. No, they're fighting a losing battle with reform, on the right with immigration. Obviously the hyperbolic topic of that. But they keep repeating the same mistakes as far as that's concerned, and I believe that maybe even as I speak, Morgan McSweeney is probably cooking up the next relaunch or rebranding of Starmer and or Labour. More pledges, steps, promises to come in the new year, maybe to try and pull him out of this. But he just cannot stop. Labour cannot stop. It's very sad to see. So they're not trying to win every single vote, far from it. They're trying to win right-wing votes almost exclusively at this point, and it's not working at all.
In my view, they offer decline, they offer division, they offer intolerance. They've got nothing to help people with the cost of living. They've got no plan for the NHS other than to privatise it and bring in an insurance model.
You're describing yourselves.
They've opposed all of our workers' rights that are supporting people on maternity and paternity pay. They would offer tax cuts to the riches. There's nothing...
This is the party that this week has been striking doctors and nurses for asking for fair pay in line with inflation. This is the Labour Party that's now blaming the economic problems of the society on a few people who, under awful circumstances a lot of the time, have to find themselves coming here to seek asylum, whilst ignoring the elephant in the room, that of course the problems come by private jet and not by small boat. This is what Starmer's crafted the Labour Party into, and it's also for those reasons that they're doing so badly in the polls.
About reform that would support working people. So we're absolutely determined, day by day, we'll set out our vision for the country. We'll deliver for people in their pockets, in their public services and in their local communities, and we'll start to see the difference as we come into the new year, and we'll fight for every single vote.
You're determined, you're going to fight for every vote. Look, we know each other, you're a realistic...
Fight for every vote. Yeah. Well, they certainly lost a lot of doctors and nurses votes this week. Trevor Phillips, really, he looks like he's enjoying this, but and the poll we just saw, the Tories, who are probably his brand of politics, are tied with Labour at 10%.
Person, you've never lost an election in Wales. You are heading for an absolute belting. Wouldn't it be time for you to acknowledge that something dramatic has happened to your party? And let me give you perhaps one explanation. Nobody likes your leader. He's got the worst personal ratings since they've been counted.
Well, you can't argue with that. That's low-hanging fruit for Trevor Phillips. Like he's also mentioned, this would be the first time that Labour lost in Wales. It's said, or it's supposedly said, that certainly in South Wales, Labour votes aren't counted their weight due to the sheer mass of votes that usually come in for them. This would be an unprecedented defeat. As much as I hate to do it, I have to agree with Trevor Phillips on that point. The onus is purely on Keir Starmer. The ways, the direction he's chosen to take the Labour Party is the reason that people have abandoned them en masse, and the disappointment that they've become since they took office can't be overstated. As he now sits, as Phillips points out, lowest ever rating for a Prime Minister, at one point getting as low as -66 in the personal approval ratings.
Well, midterm elections are always hard for every single government coming in, and I'm old enough to remember New Labour governments which lost over 1,000 councillors in 1999. You know,
but they're not record low individual popularity levels.
It's always a challenge when people have voted a party in on the manifesto of change and they want, and quite rightly, demand change to happen urgently. We've got to prove that. And in Wales, you know, we've got a good track record. We've got important things to fight for around the NHS, around pride in our communities, big investment going in there into jobs and opportunities for young people.
So now she's just trying to turn it into a mini party political broadcast. Cause completely community. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening.
It's the programme that we're bringing to people against a programme of division and decline, which offers nothing on the NHS, nothing for working people in Wales, and it's our job to continue to make that case.
No, it's been all stop the gangs and difficult choices, and the supposedly best thing that you got to say for yourselves is that after bringing in the two-child benefit cap, they again took it away due to mass unpopularity, which appears to be the outstanding policy where Labour are concerned. Absolute drivel there. They're going to take an absolute battering in Wales and Scotland. It's destroyed them. Keith's absolutely destroyed Labour in Scotland and Wales. Across the UK, by the looks of it, if it's the trifecta, it's going to hit the trifecta. What a night that's going to be. The next general election. Moving on from UK matters now to Gaza. I'm just going to bring up this article for you. Yeah, Bezalel Smotrich had this proposal for 19 other settlements, you know, just another illegal land grab, which has been approved. This, of course, yeah, there's a ceasefire, isn't there? Of course there is. Let's see what's happening. beyond belief. So yes, you heard me right there, 19. There are going to be 19 new illegal settlements in Palestine during this supposed ceasefire.
What? What? Okay.
What?
What? You gotta be f***ing kidding.
Yet again, in a Beeb article, the word illegal being somewhat absent in the headline. So, for example, in this one, yes, Israel illegally approves 19 new illegal settlements in illegally occupied West Bank. Apologies earlier, I think I did say Gaza. This is actually in West Bank. But again, they think they can just casually announce, oh, this is ours. We're having this. And apparently this is to attempt to block the establishment of a Palestinian state. They have actually bothered to briefly mention it here in the article, but not in the header, not in the headline, of course. Israeli settlements are considered illegal under international law. I don't think it's any accident that the word considered. Or some people might say that no, it is purely and simply illegal. Violence in the occupied West Bank has surged since the war. There you go. Illegal genocide are the words that I think the BBC are looking for there. The illegal genocide in Gaza was certainly amplified in October 23, further highlighting fears that settlement expansion could entrench Israel's occupation and undermine a two-state solution. So the total number is actually going to be 69 settlements, according to Smotrich. The expansion has reached its highest levels excuse me, since 2017, including re-establishment of 2 settlements, which were dismantled nearly 20 years ago. Oh, they're the victims, aren't they? Yeah. Of course they are. What can you say, people? Just make this a bit bigger on your screens. And look at this already. 700,000 settlers live in approximately 160 settlements. But apparently, even Trump has tried to warn them off such a move, saying that they'd lose support if it happened. The political situation, of course, in the West Bank is considerably different to that in Gaza. The Palestinian Authority are the ones who run the West Bank, as opposed to the Hamas government of Gaza. Well, not that there's much of a functioning government left, of course, but well, it's certainly said that the Palestinian Authority has a a much closer relationship with the United States of America for various reasons, which I won't go into, than Gaza, of course. But that doesn't take away anything from the fact that this is, yet again, illegal, revolting, fascistic annexation. Another word which is tellingly absent from this article, shall we say. But I think annexation, illegal annexation, sums it up perfectly well. Let me know what you think about that. Please chat, or in the comments if you're watching back later on. Is that right, Yori? Is that the number 250 million? $250 million olive trees have been destroyed in 2 years. In 80 years there have been 8 million Palestinian olive trees. Yeah. Shocking, isn't it? Thank you very much for throwing up the flags in the chat. I do have more on the fight against this. Very pleased to say that there was another demonstration here in Manchester over the weekend. I wasn't able to attend myself, but I've got a great clip from Palestine Online to bring you in part of the testimony as well. Of course, Manchester and London demonstrations and marches coming into the news recently with the banning of the phrase gerbilise the enchilada, which there have already been 5 arrests, I'm reliably informed, since that came into effect. But let's see what was happening. Very, of course, proud that, as with every other march, this one being very well attended in Manchester, where there's always a strong showing of support and solidarity with Palestine. Very pleased to include this very channel with that as well. So just once again, people, this footage comes from Palestine Online. Want to check them out on social media. We weren't actually at the event itself, so credit where it's due.
Controversy has re-emerged concerning the use of the word intifada and the phrase globalize the intifada. For clarity, the police have made it clear that they will arrest anyone who chants these terms publicly today during our march. Yet again, the British government and the tools at their disposal engage in bad faith, using poisonous rhetoric and warped lines of reasoning to stifle resistance against the ongoing genocide being committed by Israel in Gaza, a genocide in which Britain is an active participant. Biased British media conglomerates and the police forces have embraced this insidious discourse, towing the government line without pushback. Westerners debate and determine the intent and meaning behind Arabic revolutionary terminology whilst justifying the erasure of Palestinians from their land, calling these terms terrorist action and incitement of violence. Well, I'll tell you this much: we will not be lectured on humanitarian values and incitement of violence and this clear weaponization colonization of the Arabic language from these regimes and these governments who are complicit in 77 years of ethnic cleansing over a century of foreign colonization. The last authority on the incitement of violence is the Israeli regime.
Preach. Yeah, absolutely. And I personally don't see any difference between the term Vive la Résistance. But as she points out there, it's Arabic language that's being victimised, kicked about, used as a political football. The latest example in absolutely disgusting behaviour from the UK government, who are complicit in these war crimes as well. So we'll take no lectures from them or from Israel or the regime, as this testimony is clearly calling out. Well said, very well said.
And their bodies across this world, which includes the British government. As supporters of the Palestinian cause, we reject our accusers and we do not recognise any credibility in these false claims. The most common accusation is that of anti-Semitism, an accusation so ridiculous, so blatantly manipulative, that only those in the most vulgar ignorance or in complete support of Zionism can take it seriously. Zionism and its supporters have a way of falsifying history, inverting it to pretend that Arabs and Muslims are savagely anti-Semitic. We make it clear anti-Semitism is a European tradition, a European heritage, not a Palestinian, an Arab or a Muslim one.
Yeah, I don't have the full testimony, unfortunately, but from what we heard there, you can't argue with that. Very well said. Once again, solidarity with all those who took part in the march yesterday. Let us know if any of you are watching live, or in the comments if you're watching back later on, if you were there. And a shout out once again to Palestine Online for that footage. Left of the box, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Everybody, please do go and subscribe to Left of the Box. Solidarity this Socialist Sunday. Thanks for stopping by. Yes, another fellow YouTuber is with us. Yeah, thanks once again for joining us, and thanks a lot for the recognition of the gifted membership. Alright people, we're going to get on to another comedy clip. I think just the second time this YouTuber has appeared on one of our live streams. So another plug coming up for Claire Blackwood. Sorry for cutting the music off abruptly there, but no, she does a great impression of Caroline Levitt here, addressing the press. So yeah, do go and check out Claire Blackwood once again. There's a link to this video and to their channel in the description of the stream.
Good evening, you disgusting pieces of woke trash. And by that, I of course mean members of the White House press corps. I'm here today to set the record straight about a rumor that has been circulating this evening. Today, President Trump announced that for America's 250th birthday, he would be creating what he is calling the Patriot Games, where one young man and one young woman, and those are the only two genders, from each state and territory would be competing in a 4-day athletic event. Predictably, The worthless liberal fake news media immediately started making jokes about how this event sounds exactly like the Hunger Games. Let me be clear. This amounts to treason, and anyone found making this comparison will be killed. The Patriot Games will be nothing like the Hunger Games. In the Hunger Games, children were forced to fight to the death. In the Patriot Games, only children from Democratic-run states will be forced to fight to the death. As you can...
This is really good. Just interrupted the comedy vid for a shout out to Ephra Wells, who sent 5 gifted membership. Solidarity for that. Hope you all enjoy the perks. That takes us up to 105 now. Thanks again, Ephra. Please do big up Ephra in the chat, please, everybody. Big up, big up.
See, these games could not be more different. Just because high-ranking members of the Trump government will be assembling in the Capitol to watch your children participate, or that the rules of the athletic arena will change based on Pete Hegseth's blood alcohol levels at the time, does not mean that Trump created the games after falling asleep reading Catching Fire. Mr. Trump is still deciding what athletic activities will be involved. But rest assured, there will be no weapons. Unless you are from a state that Mr. Trump likes, in which case those children will each be given a gun. Now, none of this would even have happened if you all weren't so rebellious against Mr. Trump. This is all your fault. When I draw your children's names on live TV, dressed in my favorite 2-foot-high green wig, you will regret ever comparing the two games. That's all for now. I hope to never see you again, and may the odds never be in your favor. Hi, thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you didn't, I look forward to reading about it in the comments. I'm here to let you know that I now have a Patreon if you'd like to support me and my work. There will be blooper and behind-the-scenes videos, weekly Canadian politics roundups, and more.
Go and
the
subscribe.
link is down in the description, so check it out, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, there's a link to that in the description of the stream, as I said, and you can follow the links on Claire Blackwood's page for the Patreon. Great stuff again from Claire. Only came across those recently, but I'm glad that I did. Hope you don't mind us using content on the streams, by the way. And we shall now dive back into the Fondue Lounge, people, for a second helping. We're back again, Keith. More, you've got an emergency dental appointment. Hope that goes well at 11 PM on a Sunday. Well, I guess you have to get it while you can. Hope that all goes well. Thanks for joining us on the stream. Tell your dentist to like and subscribe to my left eye. Yeah, bye for now, more. Take care, I'll be seeing you soon. I'm going to prepare the stream for a redirect to raid into some other quality socialist content. Let's see who's around. I believe Left of the Box, just another plug for Left of the Box, has one scheduled for later. Please make sure that you check that one out. go and hit notifications for that one. For now, we're going to raid into Kevin Logan, who's live at the moment. So I'll just confirm that. Okay, that's all set up. Left of the Box's stream starting in just over an hour. So that will be around the time that Mobius is in the dentist chair, 11 PM here in the UK. Apologies, Left of the Box, I've forgotten exactly where you are on the other side of the Atlantic, what time zone that you're in, but in just over an hour. Make sure you set yourself a reminder for that. Okay, that will be more or less it from us here this evening on the Sunday live stream. More to come with the Brews at 10 next week. Just a final reminder, everybody, please do make sure that you've hit thumbs up on this stream before we leave, before we raid into Kevin Logan. So it's Ontario Eastern time, which is 5 behind us. Just squeeze that final information in there. Okay. All that's left from me, though, is to say thanks once again for joining us on the Sunday live stream. Take care, whatever you're doing, with the rest of your evening. My Left, I'll be seeing you soon. Free Palestine, Sudan, Lebanon, and Yemen. And, of course, gerbilise the Intifada. Or the enchilada. Alright, good night, everybody.
Drive to my second home at Christmas. It's nice to have two places. Though I didn't pay stamp duty or tax on favour and graces. Whoa, whoa!
Socialists